Hello and welcome to the Two Fat Brokers. I am Ben from Abu Dhabi.
I am Barney from Dubai.
Quite an unusual one. We don't have a guest with us now, but we do have a guest who we can't see because today we're talking about the death of brokers, AI. Artificial intelligence, for those of you not in the know, not down with the kids like myself.
Direct competition for real intelligence of real estate agents.
So something interesting happened to me the other day. So someone's obviously like watching our website. Often when we have a new broker, we add their details to the website, their email address, their phone. So someone's crawling the website and they'll normally send them either an email or a WhatsApp pretending to be from me, asking, for their help, saying I'm in a meeting, and if you play this through, they try and get them to buy Amazon gift vouchers for this person.
For like, red flag.
Yeah, for like, I don't know, 40 dirhams or something like that. So actually part of our training now is to warn the guys of this scam. However, new scam, this time the new agents got sent a voice note from me using, I don't think it sounds anything like me, but other people do think it sounds like me. But it's probably generic.
Please buy me a gift card.
generic British posh boy. Asking for their help and trying to get them to buy, trying to get my new agents to buy whoever this is, fresh Amazon gift cards. And I said to them, we had a meeting. I said it's not going to be long before someone calls them up. It sounds like me. And the scam will be done, basically through artificial intelligence, because a voice note obviously is just the beginning. Presumably at some point, they're just going to get called up and they'll be using my voice.
Well, isn't there? I mean, our family on our WhatsApp chat had a conversation about having a safe word because there were scams in the US or the UK where they recorded an audio message of their child saying that they've been caught or captured and they need to send money to this address and then they'll be released, and the child hadn't been captured. This was just an AI fake. And that's why they say, if you have a situation like that, you should have a safe word with your family, like pineapple or something.
Or just call your child, see if they've been kidnapped.
Yeah, I mean, if you hang up this phone, we'll kill them. Oh, well, they can't do that anymore then.
Fair enough. So then we want to talk about, kidnapping and safe words and stuff like that. But
what's your safe word, Ben?
Don't even go there. But so now you can have AI outbound calls using your voice. So you can have Barney Crompton calling somebody up, and you can control this, saying,
I can control the phone call is making on my behalf. I just make the phone call.
Well, you could do, yeah. But what if you needed to call 100 people in a day or something?
Cold calling.
Well, that's one of the uses now. Let's say you've got 100 investors in your phone and there's a new launch and you need to get through to them all. You can now, automate your voice, have, your personality, input it into the AI chatbot. Call
you
them
have
up.
The personality of a robot anyway.
Yeah, so that's why it's so perfect for me.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I don't like talking to people. It's amazing. Robot, call my mum once a week. Pretend to be interested in her. I am interested in what's going on. I know she'll spot that fake immediately.
So what did this real estate agent do? Did they laugh and go, Ben, look what's just been sent to me? Or did they rush off to Amazon?
Well, it was sent to a few of them and one of them nearly fell for it. And the others messaging me saying, is this a fake? But it was confusing for them because it did sound. Well, I don't think it sounded like me, but it did sound.
Where did the message come
like
from? From a WhatsApp or something?
Yeah, from a WhatsApp. So from a
random number.
Yeah, from a random number. Yeah, but so that's just a very interesting example of what it's used for. But obviously now, so AI will become used more in business, and it's particularly useful, for for what we do in terms of if you wanted. Obviously, cold calling is not as big as it used to be. They've clamped down on it a fair bit now. But let's say calling your old leads. You've got a bunch of leads that you had from a couple of years ago. Barney Crompton could call all those leads, without you actually calling them. Hey, you got in touch with us last year. Are you still interested to buy? And then have a conversation with them based off the back of that.
Is this AI or is this just a smart algorithm?
No. This is artificial intelligence.
Artificial intelligence. So I can ask them, what did you have for breakfast this morning? And it'll go, Weetabix.
I mean, it depends what you tell it to say. So most of them should confess, I am actually an AI bot. But if you tell them not to confess, then they can, depending on the amount of information that's being provided to them, they can do that. You can ask them what the weather is today, and they can do it. You can ask them, the probability of rain, and it would tell you, depending upon the sophistication of the program that you're using.
So it's a program. It's not AI. Artificial intelligence. This is a program we're talking about.
Yeah, but it's like ChatGPT.
Learn on the spot.
Yeah, no, it does. Yeah, it learns. It's like ChatGPT. It's a large language model that you're just using to, with so it's like ChatGPT with a voice, basically. So it just.
So you guys using it?
No, but it's something that we'll look at. I mean, the problem is, particularly for what we do, at best it's probably grey hat. So obviously white hats, that's fine to do. Grey hats, like, should you really be doing that, like from a moral or maybe even a legal perspective? And black hats, obviously, like a big no. So if you take my example where you get the AI to call like your leads from last year that perhaps never answered the phone to you, is that, and they think it's you, or they think it's like your call center or your admin or something like that. Is that morally the acceptable thing to do?
Well, it's the practice of cold calling, isn't it? It's the
but this isn't cold calling, right? So there's a difference where you just buy some numbers. You're warm calling,
tapping on warm leads,
and also you could use it. Let's say you're running a social media campaign, generating leads. Instead of calling those leads yourself, let's say you're generating so many that you get the AI to call them. Hey, you clicked on our Facebook advert, you left your details, and it could warm qualify them. Are you looking for a property to purchase at the moment?
I think as soon as you're pretending to be something you're not, morally not right.
Well, so then there's a difference. So you could have it as someone just calling them up, and then if they ask, "Are you an AI?" they'd be like, "Yeah, I'm an AI. I'm basically a booking system. I'm here to set appointments." And so then if someone asks,
but if you're using your voice.
Right, I mean, you don't have to use. I mean, and that's pretty
unless
weird
you go,
to use someone's
"Hi, this
voice.
is Ben, but it's not Ben. This is my voice, but I'm an AI. I'm phoning you to, do this."
Yeah, why would you use your voice then? So
because it's a voice they've heard before, which automatically.
But I think then it gets super creepy. Then you're like, well, hold on. I'm talking to you. You sound like Ben. You've even got that weird South African twang that comes and goes every now and again. Yeah, because you married a South African. So then I don't think it's very useful to deliberately impersonate yourself. Like, I just think that's super weird. You could do it, but it's super weird.
I think I'd look at it differently. I think that adds an element of, okay, this is a voice I've heard before. All right, it's not the person, but it's a voice I've heard before, rather than, that weird vanilla British accent lady that you sometimes get, that you've heard 1,000 times before and you know exactly what it is. I would be leaning on having your own voice and just saying, look, this is Barney, but it's not Barney. I am using his voice or whatever. Like you come clean at the very beginning. I think that would be pretty cool. And actually, it's a voice that you've heard before.
But no one wants to talk to an AI bot, though. They're like, well, why isn't Barney calling me himself?
Good point.
Yeah.
Because he's too busy.
Why do I have to? Yeah, he's too busy. Too busy to call you right now. So I've got my
way
robot
too low on the pecking order.
Yeah. I've got my friend to give you a call. So that's there. And there's so that's next level. There is a lower level, which is WhatsApp. So outbound WhatsApp marketing. So where you WhatsApp someone saying, hey, you got in touch with us, last year, about buying a property. Did you buy something in the end?
Voice
Are you
notes
still
or
interested?
text or...
So it can do voice notes, but most of the time you do it through text.
Pointless.
And then why?
I don't think anybody gets any leads from them. I get loads of them, the text WhatsApps from the random number that you don't... I literally just delete them. I don't even open them.
Yeah, but I mean, the thing is, it's like email marketing, right? So email marketing works. People do it.
Do they?
Right?
I mean, does it work?
Yeah. Yeah, if you do it right, it works.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, why else would it even exist if it didn't work?
Because it's cheap and you may get an occasional strike.
Then it works. So, but the difference is, and the thing about email is the volume. You can get 0.1% lead generation rate, but if you're sending 20,000 emails,
But then what damage does it do to your brand? I'm getting spammed by this other who.
Well, you're not getting spammed.
Never
You get one
spoken
email.
to. Yeah, spam. I'm getting a spam rather than spammed. If you want to be semantic, they have spammed me singularly. I have not been spammed. Point being, the damage it does to your brand.
So, I mean, if you're just doing it absolutely cold, you're right. So the way you would do it normally, you would try and, if you're doing email marketing, you try and build up confidence in your brand. So you try and segment it. Okay, like if I'm,
You've drunk the Kool-Aid. Somebody's been selling to you recently.
No, just have to do a lot of research for marketing. But we're putting it into effect now. So now we're going to do sort of more email marketing. But in the end, you need to send people emails that they're interested in. So if we want to send out emails to owners, we segment it. Okay, I'm sending emails to Sadiat owners. All right, and so I'm segmenting that, and there's like a few thousand of them. What are prices doing on Sadiat at the moment? And they're like, oh, okay, that's of value to me, all right? And then so you try and segment it with 3 pieces of useful information, and then a sales request. What's his name? Gary V. Loves that jab, 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 hook. So 3 pieces of useful information and a sales request. So what are prices doing on Sadiat? Where's best to
In one email.
No, 3 separate emails.
Okay.
Yeah. So then what WhatsApp marketing is, you can do exactly the same as emails. Or if you're using the AI bot, the person can reply, and then the AI bot can actually talk to them and say, so they've got a question, whatever it is, if I wanted to sell my property, what would the process be? Or what, my tenancy's coming up,
See,
how do I
this
get
is all very good for lead
kind of
gen on a mass scale. For me, it doesn't sit particularly well with me because what I do is very much more about the individual. So for what you do with the big company that you've got in Abu Dhabi, it makes a lot of sense. And I can absolutely see why why a business owner like you would do it. I feel for me it would be not counterintuitive, but it robs you of the one-to-one relationship building opportunity that you get from actually picking up a phone and calling the individual. Yeah,
you're absolutely right. And I think, AI is only useful as a marketing tool and a mass marketing tool. If you're generating, these campaigns.
We can't be far away from the day where you can receive a phone call from me and I can talk to you as I'm talking to you now. And it would be an AI bot.
No, I mean, we're there.
We're not there because
it doesn't know everything
the voice
that you have.
note. Yeah, but you got the voice note, and people looked at your voice note and was like, "Well, that's not really Ben. Sounds a bit like Ben, but generic posh boy."
Well, because they're only dealing in Amazon gift cards, they haven't sprung for the expensive AI where you take I can't remember how much of your voice it is, 10 minutes or something, and then it copies your voice and it can send not just voice notes, it can call them up. So we could use that system to call people up and it be your voice. Now I wouldn't know any details about you that you didn't tell it, but it would be exactly your voice. And I could call you up.
Then comes from the security of your actual telephone. Because if they can do that and from your telephone number, then you're in real trouble.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because obviously these guys are
if they can make it look like
WhatsApp
it's from your phone number, you're stuffed.
Which should be pretty easy if you think about it.
Yeah, I think it must be very difficult to
caller ID. Call. Just change that on your phone so when this number comes through, it comes up on whatever Ben's caller ID is.
Yeah, but how do you change that on someone's phone?
I don't know. Otherwise, I'd be doing it.
But anyway, we do this podcast for all kinds of agents and brokers, not just people at your high end. So I think, and it's worthwhile people knowing, even people aren't not in the real estate business, that this technology is out there and it's coming, and there are real estate companies now using this technology to call people up.
Yeah, and it's that touch of a song I've been singing to my brokers for a while now is it's the giver's gain, right? You remember we probably covered this on a podcast before. When you go to Cambodia or you go to Vietnam and you go to these markets, and the first thing they do when you walk into this market is they give you a floral wreath and a glass of water, right? That is them giving you something for free. And then human psyche is, I have now received something for free, I must return, I must reciprocate. And that is the giver's game, because they've given you something that was probably worth about 10 cents. And anything in their shop's worth $5 plus. So you've bought $5. They've made $4.90, right? That's the giver's gain. You've introduced yourself to this individual with some free information, whatever it might pertain to. You've done it 3 times, and then you ask for the business. That is the giver's game, because they've received something for free from you for 3 times. You now then psychologically feel beholden to them. I get it. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, I mean, information isn't as good as something physical, but obviously,
this is why branded pens were invented, right? Here's a pen.
Yeah. When we do make a sale or a sale of a secondary market unit or rent something, we give the people a cheese board who we do business with.
I'm not buying anything. I hate cheese.
A branded cheese board. Well, most people like cheese. I also don't like cheese. Must be genetic. Most people like cheese.
A physical cheese board, not with the cheese on it, just the piece of wood.
No, just the board.
Dude, that is tight. Why don't you put some cheese on it?
I mean, they don't like cheese. They don't like that board? Cheese that you put on it. A cheese board you could use for a cutting board. It's pretty cool, actually. It opens out and it's got like little cheese knives and cheese cutlery in it. It's actually very nice. And we brand it Crompton Partners, and that they have something to remember us by.
When they're eating the smelliest thing on earth.
I mean, a lot of people like cheese.
Yeah,
a lot of people. And some people really like it. French people, for example, absolutely.
All of them love cheese. There's no lactose intolerant people in France. You know that. It's a physical fact.
Yeah, I can imagine that's true. And so that's something that we do. So, I mean, just as a general marketing, idea, giving people information is important. But for this specific topic, when we're talking about AI, people need to be aware that, we've all been, even still now, I get cold calls. Are you interested in buying property in Dubai? Like, no, thank you.
Why?
We'll be able to do that on a massive scale.
You should be buying property in Dubai, Ben.
I mean, yeah. I mean, to be honest, the price rises that you guys are seeing, it's pretty ridiculous.
Well, as you and I have had conversations about recently, we have property in the UK, and I was thinking about selling my house in the UK 4 years ago, and now if I sold it, I couldn't buy anything with the equity it had in it. If I sold my house in the UK 5 years later, it's probably gone up, I don't know, 10%, maybe a bit more in the last 5 years. I literally it would be the deposit on something small. It's ridiculous.
I mean, it's. I think the good thing about Dubai, because of these like massive spikes and stuff like that, as long as you don't, and we've said this before, as long as you're not forced to sell at any point, you can just ride that wave and try and make a bit of capital appreciation out of it. But you might have to hold it for a long time as this kind of like goes up and down.
Yeah, I mean, I think we'll see a narrowing of the margins of the peaks and the troughs as the market gets older. We've seen that before. The peaks of 2007, the trough of 2009, the peak of 2014, the trough of 2019. They're all narrowing in terms of the price fluctuation.
Are they? Because this seems like a pretty massive boom that we're going through now.
Yeah, where prices are at the highest point where they have ever been. But I can guarantee you the drop, if and when it does happen, the bottom of the curve will be higher than the bottom of the previous curve, right? And it will be narrower. Yeah. That's the last 2 boom and bust we've had. You can see it. Any chart you can find on online will show you the trend. It is an upward trend with a narrowing peaks and troughs.
Anything more on AI, or should we?
Don't trust it. It's going to kill us all. And
as soon as it works out that it's AI, we're in trouble.
So this is my question, right? Haven't Google just invented some quantum computer that can now break codes all over the world in fractions of seconds? So, a code that would have taken 10 years to break, it can break in 30 seconds, which strikes me as, all of our prayers have been answered, and a quantum computer should now be able to create AI. And so it's not the rapture. What is it when AI overtakes human?
There's a word for that. Armageddon?
No. Where's my phone? You fill in. There's a word for it.
The rapture's when everyone gets taken up to heaven. But I think the Americans often, they make films about it where the rapture only takes some people up and all the evil people are left behind on earth. And they just leave piles of clothes on the floor. Don't know. I think it's a specifically American thing. They often make up their own stuff. So yeah, there's just piles of clothes on the floor where people have been raptured away. And then the evil people have to live without the good people. I guess that's how it works.
It's from Terminator.
Skynet becomes self-aware.
Yeah, but it's like The Reckoning.
They gave it a name.
Yeah, we'll put it in the. I'll find it.
Becomes self-aware.
Sure. Right. We'll find it. We'll put it in the text at the bottom of the video. No, other than my warning about AI, I've got nothing to add.
I mean, you can warn about it, but it's like it will impact you, and you have to understand it. You have to understand, and to be honest, I fear for old people because they are already technologically not very savvy. If someone starts calling up, old people pretending to be their children and asking for their, I mean, that's something else.
That's why you need the safe word.
Yeah, get a safe word, but not for real estate. For your family. Real estate's fine.
No, anyway, I mean, the fact that people are obviously, the human ingenuity is starting to use AI for mass marketing, I think is a very good thing for it's a one up for the humans. We've actually decided that this is something we can use for mass marketing. Fair play.
Yeah, as long as it doesn't spam people too much, I guess. It could get very annoying.
I mean, it's not spam if you're using it for warm leads. It's only if you're using it for cold calling.
No, you've come round to it already. Barney, you're going to start using AI. Oh, these leads are warm.
Mate, I use Siri on my phone.
I don't think she's AI. Grok on Twitter. Grok?
Huh?
I don't know. Anyway, we've been the two fat brokers. We'll strategically edit that rubbish. I've been Ben from Abu Dhabi.
I've been Barney from Dubai.
Thank you very much.
See you again.